It's been said that better questions lead us naturally to better answers, and that it's in not knowing that we open the doorway to knowing. I'm Scott Lennox, and you're listening to The Beautiful Question, a consideration of things that truly matter in a complex world. There is always magic in the world, yet when we're struggling, it can be easy to convince ourselves otherwise and not see the magic that's right in front of us. This week, we'll look at a magical moment and what remains possible, even when the light seems to have left us. Stay with me. This week, I'll begin with a poem I wrote about a simple but magical moment that changed me and brought me back to myself. It's called Cloaked Magic. Through my half-opened door, I watched a crow dining on biscuit crumbs and flecks of morning sun. A stealthy corvid queen, cloaked in iridescence and jewels of light. I shifted, scarcely moved, and strong and soundless, she leaned into the sky and whisked away, disappearing beyond the branches. From time to time, and probably more often than I can count or relate to you, something in the natural world has brought me to a complete stop and taken my breath away. The event in the poem I just shared with you is about just such a moment. For as long as I can remember, I've watched crows with deep fascination. My experience with the crow in the poem took place while I was beginning the process of healing after going through weeks of radiation on my neck. It would be a gross understatement to say that I was physically and mentally and emotionally depleted. I'd been taken to my limit. And yet, stopping to watch that crow shifted something in my perspective. While I still can't say what made that particular time so different, I know that a connection happened between myself and the natural world that was quietly life-altering. In that moment, a lightness washed over me and through me, and brought with it something fresh and hopeful and enlivening. I remember that upon arising, I offered a prayer of gratitude for my life, and a heartfelt openness to healing and to new life coming to me. In the silence that followed, I got up and made coffee, and then stepped outside to put out biscuit crumbs for the birds, trailing them along the railing on the deck just outside my kitchen door. I hadn't been back inside more than a few seconds when the sound of wings flapping and a soft churring caught my attention. I turned around, looking through the crack in the slightly open door, to see a single crow taking her time as she pecked at the crumbs. While I usually don't attribute human traits to animals, she appeared to be savoring them, one by one. Perhaps it was the quality of the light. Perhaps it was the way she took her time, moving with such grace and confidence. Perhaps it was the bejeweled look of her feathers as the sun touched them. Perhaps there was something about the silent and effortless way she took to the air and flew off. Perhaps I was finally ready for something new and something magical and healing to happen in my life. What I can tell you for certain is that when all of those factors came together in that brief moment, I was subtly but remarkably and undeniably changed for the better. After the crow had flown out of sight, I stood there for a long time, taking in every detail about the light, the gentle way the morning breeze was moving the branches, the slight chill in the air, the smell of pinon smoke from a far-off chimney, the hush of the traffic in the distance, the sense of wonder I was feeling, and in the end, the feeling of the joyful tears that were rolling down my cheeks. I'm alive, I thought, still looking at the place where the crow had been. I really am alive. Without a trace of exaggeration, I can tell you what a wondrous and delicious awareness that seemingly simple statement was, and still is. Without a doubt, I had once again looked death in the face. Without a doubt, I had once again come perilously close to dying. And yet, there I was, standing stock still in the little kitchen of my tiny apartment, and feeling like a 4-year-old as I watched a crow and felt a curious new kind of vitality welling up and scintillating its way through every part of me. To be sure, I'm not suggesting that if you stand in your doorway and watch a crow having breakfast, your life will be forever changed. Although, having experienced precisely that, I can't deny the possibility of it. What I am saying is that when we're ready and when we're open to it, the magic of life can come streaming in, even when we're tired or drained or frustrated or lonely or angry or afraid or a combination of all of those things. My prayer that morning had been a brief and simple expression of gratitude and openness. What happened next, in the midst of the very ordinary, was something so extraordinary that I'm still different because of it. In the moment of suffering and struggle, I was touched by wonder and by the miraculous fact of how truly alive I am. Without question, the world and everything and everyone in it remained exactly as it was. And it would be quite some time before I would feel strong and healthy again. And yet, the more I continued repeating to myself every day, I am alive, the more directly I re-engaged with my life, and the better I felt, and the faster I began to heal. I probably don't have to tell you that now, whenever I hear crows, I do my very best to stop and to watch and listen, wondering what magic will reveal itself to me this time. But that's just me. For you, it may be something entirely different. The trick is in paying attention. This week's 2 beautiful questions are about allowing the magic of life to uncloak itself. Question 1. Are you willing to gently remind yourself throughout the day to keep your heart and your mind open to wonder and to the magic that life can bring? Are you at least willing? And question 2. Are you willing to stop and actually notice it and drink it in when it happens? As you do, write and tell me about it. I'm listening. As I say each week, my light with your light. Thank you again for listening. I'm always inspired by our collaboration as we work and play together, building better lives and better possibilities for ourselves, for one another, for the world, and for our beautiful planet home. I look forward to your comments and to your feedback. You can also be inspired by visiting my good friends at Cosmos Journal. That's KOSMOS Journal. Their mission is to inform, inspire, and engage global transformation in harmony with all life. You can easily find them online at cosmosjournal.org. And as always, you can find my free podcasts and guided relaxation audios by searching for The Beautiful Question in Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud or CastBox, or by visiting the podcast page of my website at scottlennox.com. If you find them useful or encouraging, don't hesitate to share them. I'm Scott Lennox, and this has been The Beautiful Question. The Beautiful Question is a One Light production, written, recorded, produced, and funded by Scott Lennox at Heart Rock Studios in Fort Worth, Texas, as a way of paying forward to life, being fully present, becoming better engaged with things that truly matter in a complex world, and committing to a healthier future for all of us.